Good morning, students. I am Manish Pandey from LPM Public School. I am going to teach you second chapter of class 7th, and that is one child, one teacher, one book, one pen. This is an extract from Nobel Peace Prize winner Malala Yousafzai autobiography. So this short part has been taken from autobiography of Malala Yousafzai and written by Malala with Christina Lamb. In this story, Malala talks about how she misses her home and life in Pakistan. Actually, what happened? Malala was attacked by the terrorists in Pakistan. So they had to leave Pakistan and they had to reside in somewhere in Britain. She also talks about how much life has changed for her and her family since they left their country. So she is talking about their difficulties and what difficulties they are facing, and recalling their old days, what they spent in Pakistan. Our house feels big and empty. So now our house was very big and vacant. It sits behind an electric iron gate. So her house faces an electric iron gate, and it sometimes seems as if we are in what we in Pakistan call a sub jail, a kind of luxury house arrest. Actually, all the amenities are available in her house, and but they are not feeling secure. They are not happy. They are feeling like they are residing in a sub jail, a kind of luxury house arrest. At the back, there is a large garden. Actually, their house is very big, and at the back there is a large garden, okay, with lots of trees and green lawn. And green lawn is there for me and my brother to play cricket on, so they can play cricket there, okay. But there are no rooftops to play on. Actually, there is no terrace. They cannot go on terrace and they cannot play on terrace. No children fighting with kites in the street. So in Pakistan, all these things used to be happened, but not in London. No neighbors coming in to borrow a plate of rice. So actually, they are not acquainted to anybody in Britain, in London. So nobody is coming their house to borrow something, and nobody is coming to ask for 3 tomatoes. We are just a walk's distance from the next house, but it feels miles away. Actually, we don't go to our neighbor's house. We are just a walk's away distance. We are at walk's distance away from our neighbor's house, but we don't go to each other's house. If I look out, so if I peep out, I see my mother. I can clearly see my mother roaming hither and thither in the garden, and her head covered by a shawl. She kept a shawl on her shoulder to cover her head, feeding the birds. And my mother is feeding the birds. She looks as if she is singing. So I can guess from his gesture that she is singing. Maybe that Tafa she likes. Actually, she likes a type of semi-classical vocal music very much. So she might be singing that music, vocal music. Don't kill dogs in the garden. If you are in the garden, and obviously so many birds will be there. Don't kill birds in the garden. You kill one and the other won't come. If you kill one bird, other won't come there. He is giving the birds the remains of our dinner from the night before. So last night we took our dinner and some food stuffs remained in our plates. So she is giving the same, and there are tears in her eyes, and at the same time, there are tears in her eyes. She is weeping. We eat much the same here as we did back home. As we were used to eat in Pakistan, and we are eating same here in London. While breakfast, rice and meat for lunch and dinner. Actually, we used to eat rice and meat in Pakistan, and also we are taking same thing for lunch and dinner. While in breakfast, fried eggs, chapatis, and sometimes also honey. Okay, so we are taking all these food stuff. Tradition started by my little brother Atal. So my little brother Atal started to taking all these food stuff. Now his favorite Birmingham discovery is Nutella sandwiches. But when we came in Birmingham, my brother likes Nutella sandwiches very much. He is fond of Nutella sandwiches, but there are always leftovers. Actually, while we are taking our lunch or dinner, some food stuffs are always remaining in our plates. My mother is sad. My mother is not happy about that, about the waste of food. She is unhappy. I know she is remembering all the children we fed in our house, so they would not go to school on empty stomach. Actually, when we are living in Pakistan, we used to feed poor students, poor children, so that they won't go to school on empty stomachs. Before going to school, we made them eat food, and wondering how they are faring now. Actually, we are not in Pakistan now, so I am thinking about them, how they are meeting both getting both ends meet. When I came home from school in Mingora, I never found my house without people in it. Actually, when we were residing in Pakistan, somewhere in Mingora, and when I used to come from school, I never found my house without people. Some people were always there. Crowd was always there. Now I can't believe that I used to plead for a day of peace and some privacy to do my schoolwork. Actually, crowd was always there, and I requested to God, please give me free time, please give me peace to complete my homework. Here the only sound is of the birds and Kushal's Xbox. So here nobody is coming at our house, in our house. So I cannot hear any voice. I cannot hear any voice of people. Only sound of birds and Kushal's Xbox. Xbox is a kind of gaming instrument, through that my brother is playing game. I sit alone in my room doing a jigsaw puzzle and long for gets. Actually, I sit alone in my room. I am sitting alone in my room, and I am playing game, jigsaw puzzle. I am playing jigsaw puzzle, and long for guests. I am waiting for guests to come in our house. We did not have much money. Actually, we were not well off. Okay, and my parents knew, what it was like to be hungry. So my parents knew that we are not well off, and so we can feel hungry at times. My mother never turned anyone away. So if anybody came to our house in search of food or anything else, my mother never turned them away. Okay, she gave them something. Once a poor woman came, caught hungry and thirsty. So one day, a poor woman was feeling hungry and thirsty. She came into our house and asked for food. My mother let her in and gave her food. My mother called her in our house and gave her food to eat. And the woman was so happy. But after taking food, that woman became very happy and showered her blessing on us. I touched every door and said, I touched every door in Mahalla, and this was the only one open. Actually, I went to several houses, but nobody opened his house, and this was the one that was open. She said, may God always keep your door open wherever you are. That poor woman showered her blessing upon us and said, may God always keep your door open for needy person, for poor people. Wherever you are, where you will reside, please, may God always keep your door open. I know my mother is lonely, so I know my mother is feeling alone. She was very sociable, and once she was very well-behaved woman. All the women of the neighborhood. So all in our neighboring area, women from our neighboring area used to gather in the afternoon in our back porch, and women who worked in other houses came to rest. So it means my mother was very sociable in Pakistan when we were residing there. All the needy women and person used to come in our house and take help from us. Now she is always on the phone to everyone back home. Now actually we are not in Pakistan, so we cannot contact to our acquainted person. So now my mother is using mobile, my mother is using phone to contact those women. It is hard for her here as she does not speak any English. Actually we are living in Birmingham and we don't know how to speak English, so we are in difficult situation because we cannot speak English. Our house has all these facilities. So all the facilities, what facilities our house has? Now she is talking about that our house has oven, washing machine and TV, but we cannot use them and we cannot ask anybody how to use them. So it is very difficult situation for us because we don't know how to speak English. We know only Urdu and Hindi. As usual, my father does not help in kitchen. Actually, my father does not go in the kitchen to help my mother. So I tease him. So I sometimes I tease my father and tell, Abba, you talk of women's right. You are always talking about women's right. But my mother manages everything. You don't even clear the tea things. My mother is working in kitchen for whole family, and you are not supporting her. You are not, and uh, you don't even clear the tea things. You cannot make tea, and you cannot do the needful. There are buses and trains, but we are unsure about using them. Actually, in Birmingham, buses and trains are there, but while we are not feeling secure, we cannot use them. My mother misses going shopping in China Bazaar. So in Pakistan, there was a market named China Bazaar. My mother used to go there and used to do shopping. She is happier since my cousin Shah came to stay. Actually, uh, my uh, my cousin name is Shah, and he came to stay with us. He has a car. He owns a car, and takes her shopping. She takes my mother for shopping, but it is not the same as she can't talk to her friends and neighbors about what she bought. But while they were living in Pakistan, when my mother purchased her desired things, she used to tell to her neighbors what I I bought today. But same cannot be happen in Birmingham because she don't have she does not have uh, so many friends. A door bangs in the house and my mother jumps. So somebody shut the door, and some sound made by shutting that door. She jumps these days at the slightest noise. Actually, uh, my mother is very afraid. When I when I was shot by the terrorist, since then she is getting annoyed at the slightest noise. She often cries, then hugs me. So she is recalling the moment when terrorists shot me. So that is why she often cries and hugs me. Malala is alive. She says, "Oh, Malala is not dead. Malala is alive." And she became happy. Now that she treats me as if I was her youngest rather than eldest child. Actually, when Malala was shot dead by the terrorists, since then her mother loves Malala more than her other child, and her mother is treating Malala younger rather than elder. Okay, I know my father cries too, so I know my father also thinks about me. He is also very conscious about me. He cries when I push my hair to the side, and he sees a scar on my head. When I push my hair to the side, a scar can be easily visible on my head. When my father sees that scar on my head where I was shot by the terrorist. He cries, he starts to cry when he wakes from an afternoon nap. Whenever he is taking nap in the afternoon and he wakes from that, and he cries when he wakes from an afternoon nap to hear his children's voices in the garden and realizes with relief that one of them is still mine. When some children were playing in the garden and making voices, and Malala's father was taking nap in the afternoon. So, by hearing voices, he awoke from his nap and heard the voices of children playing in the garden, and he took sigh of relief, and he knows that one of them is still Malala's voice. He knows people say it is his fault. All the people are blaming on Malala's father. They are telling that it was your fault that Malala was shot. Why? That he pushed me to speak up like a tennis dad trying to create a champion. Malala's dad pushed her like a tennis dad means Malala's dad was trying to push Malala to excel in her field, as if I don't have my own mind. Actually, Malala's father was taking care of Malala very much. He was protecting Malala. It is hard for him. All he worked for over almost 20 years. For 20 years he worked hard. Has been left behind. Now 20 years have been gone by. The school he built up from nothing. So he started his school from nothing. He worked hard to got his school built up, which now has 3 buildings. Now we have 3 buildings in our school with 1100 pupils and 70 teachers. So he hired 70 teachers on 1100 pupils. I know he felt proud of what he had created. So my father is feeling proud because he did something for the education of children. He did something for poor children to provide them a quality education. A poor boy from that narrow village between the black and white mountains, now after getting education from Malala's father's school, they are excelling in their field. They are developing very fast. He says, it is as if you planted a tree and nurtured it. You have the right to sit in its shade. My father says that if you plant a tree and when it will grow up, you will have the right to sit under it, to use its shade and keep yourself safe from the sunlight. His dream in life was to have a very big school in Swat, providing quality education. Actually, my father is thinking that we should have a big house We should have a big house in Swat, and we will provide quality education to live peacefully, and we will live peacefully, and to have democracy in our country, and we will have right to tell what we want to tell, and we have democracy in our country because Pakistan is not a democratic country. It is almost ruled by autocrat. In Swat, he had achieved respect and status in society through his activities and help he gave people. So my father is helping poor people and needy person, and he is achieving respect and status in society through his activities. He never imagined living abroad, and he gets upset when people suggest we wanted to come to the UK. In Pakistan, people are missing her father, and they often tell to his father, we also will come to Britain and we will. A person who has 18 years of education, a nice life, a family, you throw him out just as you throw a fish out of water for speaking of for girls' education. So in Pakistan, some people are very angry. Why Malala was attacked by terrorists? Why they compelled to leave Pakistan and reside in UK? So they are very angry because Malala and Malala's father were doing very good job for poor and needy people of Pakistan. Often our meals, we talk about home, often over meals. We talk about home and try to remember things. When we are taking our lunch or dinner, we talk about our home and to try to recall our old days. We miss everything, even the smell stream. So whatever we used to see there, we are remembering all those things. Already some of the things from Swat seem like stories from a distant place, like somewhere I have read about. Actually, if I get to know any information about our country or our province, we think that we are still residing in Pakistan. We are not far away from Pakistan. My father spends much of his time going to conferences on education. My father attends conferences on education. I know it's odd for him that now people want to hear him because of me, because now my father is famous because of me. So it is very odd, it is very strange for my father, not the other way around. I used to be known as his daughter. So once people knew me through my father, now he is known as my father. So now everybody is telling that he is father of Malala. When he went to France to collect an award for me, when I was getting award in France, he went to France. He told the audience, he told the gathering there, in my part of the world, most people are known by their sons. So, I am one of the few lucky father known by his daughter. Now, everybody knows me by my daughter, by the name of my daughter. I don't want to be thought of as a girl who was shot by Taliban. I don't want that people remember me as a girl who was shot by Taliban, but the girl who fought for education. This is a cause to which I want to devote my life. Actually, I will always work by work for poor children. I will always study for education of poor children in Pakistan. On my 16th birthday, I was in New York to speak at the United Nations. So when I was celebrating my 16th birthday, I was in UN to speak up. I was addressing an audience there inside a vast hall where so many world leaders have spoken before was daunting. Actually, it was very difficult for me to speak up there. So I was threatening, but I knew what I wanted to say. This is your chance, Malala. I said to myself, only 400 people were sitting around me, but when I looked out, I imagined millions more. Actually, on Malala think herself that it is a golden opportunity to address herself, because it was not a joke that anybody can go in UN and can address a gathering there. It was a very vast hall and around 400 people were sitting there. I imagined million more. I did not write my speech with the UN delegates in mind. I wrote it for every person around the world. Actually, I did not write my speech for only UN delegates who were sitting inside the vast hall, but I wrote it for every person around the world who could make a difference, who can understand my feelings and who can help me. I wanted to reach people living in poverty. I wanted to reach up to poor person, those children forced to work, and those who suffer from terrorism or lack of education. So I want that every child should get education, because this is their birthright. Deep in my heart, I hope to reach every child who could take courage from my words, and I think my words can give them support and they can fight against terrorism and everything. I called on the world's leader to provide free education. I met world's great leaders and asked them to provide free education to every child in the world. Let us pick up our books, our pens. I said, they are our most powerful weapons. Actually, these are weapons of the students. One child, one teacher, one book, and one pen can change the world. I did not know how my speech was received until the audience gave me a standing ovation after hearing the Malala's speech. Everybody was on the feet and they gave standing ovation to Malala, and Malala was very happy, and she thought, now I will do what I wanted to do in Pakistan, I will carry on all those work, and I will help poor students, poor children to get quality education. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.